And we are here again to listen to the word of God, to worship God, to advise ourselves, to admonish ourselves, to take words of exaltation. And today is the 15th of December. What I mean is that we are getting to the close of the year. So it's also a period of deep reflection on how the year has gone so far, the lessons we learned, and the lessons we also take over to the next year. If, for example, we turn 40 this year, what it means is that we can take 40 years of experience of being on earth, and apply it to our 41st year on earth. Because a particular lesson will continue to come to us unless we learn it. And when you spend so much time on one lesson, people may think that you are Olodo, right? So this is a period of very deep reflection of what happened in the course of the year. A few months ago, in the month of October, in my kids' school, the junior secondary session, the location of junior secondary is different from that of the senior secondary. They had a debate. The topic of that debate is to say that women are better leaders than men, and the girls are supposed to be supporting this motion, while the boys are supposed to be opposing the motion. And in a very typical debate setting, you had three people on both sides. Remember, I said it's for the junior secondary school. So what they did was that they were to draw one person from each level. That means one person from JS1, JS2, then JS3. By a combination of reasons, my two daughters happened to make it to the final three of people representing the girls. I was told they had quite a wonderful presentation. And then, small problem. Their audience, in this case, the fellow students, you have to ask them questions. And they were simple questions which they answered. Then a particular boy in that school stood up and asked a bit of a difficult question. And he said that women are better leaders than men. So where were the Nigerian women when the men were fighting for independence? They were confused, but that wasn't a very straightforward question. I didn't know what exactly to answer. Now, bigger problem. The boy that asked that same question that got them confused is the only brother they have in that school. And a younger brother to one of them, and a twin brother to the other. Now, one of the teachers said to my daughters in a jocular form, say, when you get home, please that nonsense nonsense. Then it kind of confirms one, the Bible says in Matthew 10:36 that the man's enemy will be the members of the classroom. Right? Why that is a bit on a light channel, that is still the background of the sermon today. It simply said the enemy within. The enemy within. And our text is taken from the book of Proverbs 4:23. Don't think about the text so much for now. The book of Luke 14:31 says something. What king going into a war against another king, seated on down first, and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? That's what the Bible says. In the time these words were written, it's not right now that you have sophisticated ways of fighting. Where you can take your fighter jet and go and drop bomb and kill 100,000 people. Then it was mostly what? Face to face, arm to arm, and all of that. So if a king has 10,000 men and the other person has 20,000, the question he will ask himself first, do I stand a chance? Or do I go and beg and say, let this war be cancelled? Right? Every general who wants to win a war takes time to study his enemy. He wants to know the strategy of the enemy, how he thinks, the firepower, the troops, to know exactly what he's getting into. So, accurately predicting the strategy of the enemy can be the difference between winning that war or surrendering to the superior firepower of the enemy. It is even worse when you don't have an idea. You don't know what you are coming against. You don't know what you are going to meet. You know, sometimes it is. Some people say they are unknown gunmen. You know, how do you find people that are unknown, even though they are actually known? But that's by the way. So it's even more confusing when maybe there's an insider in your camp that will always give the enemy information. If you are preparing on how to attack, they will tell them exactly how you will come. It becomes difficult to win that kind of war. Earlier in the year, I went to one of my cousins out in Abuja, and he had these former classmates that is a colonel in the army. And the guy was telling us stories of his experience at Sambisa and all of that. And he mentioned many times they would prepare to attack. On their way, there will be bombs detonating and people dying and all of that. I'm saying in situations like that, it will be impossible without having insiders. Because they've had a number of the Boko Haram infiltrating the Nigerian army, making the war difficult to fight. When there's an insider that will give out your information. So many wars have been sabotaged by this, and it becomes very difficult. Why Christians are advised to love and forgive their enemies? Matthew 5. You know, the Bible passage that says, "What do well than more than what others." It is still heartbreaking to be betrayed by those you expect to have your interest at heart. It is still heart-rending when family friends, sometimes brethren, are the ones that are actually creating problems for you. Even Apostle Paul complained bitterly in 2 Corinthians 11:26. If you start the passage from verse 5, it says, 3 times I was beaten with rods, once I was stoned, 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. In my frequent journeys, I've been in danger from rivers and from bandits, in danger from my countrymen and from the Gentiles, in danger in the city and in country, in danger on the sea and among false brothers. Paul didn't say which one was more painful to him, but I can imagine where you have a lot of external factors you had no control over. But part of your problem was actually coming from those who should be what? Supporting you. I can imagine how that painful that would be. And that's what we are discussing today, the enemy within. Why that is difficult, that you have somebody within, family, within the church, within your household, that are your enemy. Ordinarily, you wouldn't expect that. You know, so what it means that you are actually being taken advantage of, because you will never expect that someone that close to you will be the one causing you harm. There's something that is worse than that. When you are the enemy to yourself. When you are a victim to yourself. You can be a victim to the actions or inactions of others. You can be a victim of conspiracy, where a group of people gather and make you a subject matter. You can be a victim of gossip. You can be a victim of scheming and evil machinations of people you trust. People you least expect to start spreading evil lies against you, or people you least expect to try to harm you. You can be a victim of all of this because you don't have any control over that. You don't have a control about how any human being will behave or act or treat you. You know, even those you trust can betray you because they have zero control over that. But it is a shame when you are now the victim of yourself. It will be a shame when it is your own mind that is working against you. And we're asking ourselves, how can we be victims of ourselves? And I can tell you, the situation is even more common than we can imagine. Most of the struggles you have in life are needless. Most of the troubles you have in life are completely uncalled for. Because these are issues we create for ourselves. Most of us don't have business living the kind of life we are living. But we are sabotaging ourselves with our minds. And that is what the problem is. A man's innermost enemy can be his mind, his thought, and his heart. While we started this sermon the way we started it, the main crux of this sermon, the enemy within, is actually talking about our mind. I'm talking about our heart. Our text reads, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Issues in this case represent problems. All the problems we are going to have in this world will come from our mind, our heart, our thoughts. That's what the Bible says. And it says, keep thy heart. Some version will say, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. If you do not control your mind will control you. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and it has the ability to determine or eventually define your destiny. So it is something that has to be guarded with all diligence, like the Bible says. And yes, God expects us to do that. If you're asking yourself, how do I control my mind? Am I in position to control my mind? The answer is yes. And we can see an example from the Bible, in the book of Philippians 2:5. The Bible says, let this same mind that in Christ be in you. When you say let, it means if it's not the situation, make it to what? Become the situation. That tells you that it is what? Possible. In that example, he was talking about even though Christ was God and all of that, he was still humble. That is just a specific example. But the Bible simply tells us that as Christians, adjusting our mindset is possible in every situation. So your mind can be controlled by yourself. It is for this reason we are then advised to be guards of our hearts, making decisions on what we allow to stay in our hearts and what we don't allow to stay in our hearts. Just have a picture of those muscled men you see in parties and occasions. You know, the bouncers that will tell you, where is your ID card? Where is the invitation card? What do? They are the ones deciding who goes into an occasion. That's what the Bible is asking us to do. That you are the one that tell this thought, you don't belong here. You are the one that will tell this, no, this cannot be in my mind, but this is not allowed because it does not have what? An ID card. That's what the Bible says. Your mind is like a garden, but the good news is that you are the gardener. The gardener is what decides what gets what? Planted. This year, you may plant vegetables. Next year, you say, no, I don't want vegetable again. I want onions. I want tomato. The gardener is the one who decides eventually what gets planted in the garden. And he's also the one that decides what does not belong to the garden. Because gardens don't take care of themselves. So the gardener is what decides when these are weeds and these are crops. When you control your mind, you're not just controlling what happens in your mind, but ultimately, you're controlling what happens in your life. This does not say in any way that you can avoid negative thoughts. You know, sometimes some things will be going through your mind, right? You did not even know that it's subconscious, it's happening to you. Things that will make you depressed, things that will make you angry. But this is what he's saying is to catch yourself when you're in that kind of situation to avoid dwelling on those negative thoughts. The captain of a ship cannot control the weather or the waves, but the captain can adjust the sail. The captain can steer the ship and decide how to navigate through the storm. And there's a difference between when you're a driver and when you're a passenger. Passenger just relaxes and enjoys it. But the driver is the one that chooses the path and chooses the destination. So be the driver of the destiny by focusing on your mind. Our thoughts are not reliable. Our thoughts are stories we tell ourselves. These stories may not be true. We are all victims of some programming right from birth. Most of us have been wrongly programmed to believe things that are not true about ourselves. If a child is born today, the mind of that child is blank. Years later, There are going to be a lot of writing on that mind from the parents, from the school, from the teachers, from everybody, from the society. And what determines the program is eventually the sum total of every experience that that child has been exposed to. So there are many negative things we've come to believe about ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I cannot speak in public. I cannot manage money. The list goes on and on. But the question is, how did you come to this realization? How did you come to this conclusion? These are not facts. They are not statements of facts. They've not been proved. They are simply stories you tell yourself. And some of us have been bonded all our lives from stories that are actually not true. Imagine if you have a friend that will always criticize you, that will always talk down on you, that will always berate you for every mistake, that will always try to tell you that you're not good enough. Will you still keep that friend? I know some of us even get to the point where we keep people who continue to make us feel bad about ourselves. But what does the Bible say? Every company corrupts with money. Right? So I think we can love some people from a distance and say that alone. There are people you care for, but you simply need to care for them from a distance because it is difficult for you to actually reason and act normally when you are around them. Many years ago, I stumbled on some, what could have been a joke, saying children letters to God. But it's also possible. That a teacher gave that assignment asking children to write letters to God. They were very hilarious letters. I think I wrote about 10 of them. One of them says that, God, thank you for my baby brother. But what I actually asked you was a thought. The boy is here, it's okay, but that wasn't what I originally asked. And one of them said, God, Cain wouldn't have killed Abel if both of them had their own rules. It works for me and my brother. Right? So my brother and myself, the reason we not kill each other is because we had our own rules. Right? Basically, what I'm saying here, there are people who you can actually love from a distance. You cannot accept people who continue to do that. But the question is, why do you then accept yourself when you continue to tell yourself negative things? When you continue to run down yourself? When you continue to bring down yourself and all of that? Why do you accept that? Why do you accept those stories you tell yourself? Thoughts are thoughts. They pop into your mind sometimes subconsciously. But what we are reminding ourselves today is our work, is our duty to examine and challenge these thoughts when they are not favorable to you. Because most of them are not true. Pay attention to what you keep. This ultimately will shape your life. Unfortunately, some of these limiting thoughts and beliefs came from those that meant well and those that wanted the best from us. Sometimes, unfortunately, our parents, our loved ones, And some of these things are no longer favorable to us because it's either a time is different or they were actually transferring what was wrong in the first place. Because that's the much they knew and that's the much they could. We are running programs that probably served our parents well in the past, but can no longer serve us well. What they call hand-me-down, those clothes that your brothers, the other brothers, they will give you. Some people inherit clothes from their fathers, some from their mothers. I know some of them will be beautiful clothes. Some of them may not fit you exactly because they're not exactly the same stature. Some of them may fit you, but no longer fashionable. So when you wear that, people will laugh at you. Right? That's what we do to some beliefs. That's what we do to some of the things we've inherited. I used to have a younger colleague who worked with me for a long time, and afterwards she said, I have a confession that she had an impression of Igbo people and went and told many stories of what the mother told her. And said most of the stories came from the experience the mother had with the man during the war. I called her name. I said, Moye, but we're no longer in a war. People during the war act differently because it was about survival. How will you take your mother's story, who experienced the war, to start living in today's world? Those are the things most of us do. we are affected by thoughts, by programming that are not correct. Last Sunday, I took the teacher's class, and I was talking about where we get ideas from sermon. I say that sometimes we get our ideas from interests we have. I went ahead and I talked about how one of the challenges I had when I came into the church from the background I came in was that it looked like, unlike where I was coming from, most people were struggling one way or the other. And in some cases, we make it look like holiness can actually be possible when you are poor. That's a bit of programming. It looks like when we say money is the root of all evil, we don't even try to put it correctly. We say that the love of money is the root of all evil. It looks like on ourselves, by ourselves, sabotage ourselves, and feel that when we are wealthy, we are offending God somewhere on one way or the other. Some of us have this program, which still affects how we go about trying to actually live our life on it. And on last Sunday, I was telling them that the prayer of David, when he said, God, do not allow me to be poor that I will go and take something that belongs to someone else. Or don't allow me to be so wealthy that I will forget about you. So it's also, I don't think it's easier to actually be holy when you are poor. Because the realities of life will face you. And if you are not careful, you sabotage on your principles, you sabotage and you tell lies, you steal, you commit all sorts because you want to survive. So when we have that kind of programming, then it means that's something we need to change. We can never rise above our thoughts, our mindsets. The extent we can think is the extent we can go. So if our hearts, our mind is not at the right level, it sabotages us. Have you seen someone who continues to have the same kind of pattern over and over and over again? You save them from a problem, they will find themselves in the same problem. I have a cousin, very beautiful young lady, obviously with the wrong program. She will go and get involved with one nonsense man, and I'm not talking about money. There are people that have no business being anybody's husband. Get involved with one nonsense man, get abused, get beaten, have a child from him, runs away from him, come back home, he will be accepted, you advise her, give her another 2 years, she will still go and find the same kind of person. Right? Because there's a program that tells her, I'm not just good enough. These are the only kind of people that can deal with me. Proverbs 3:7 says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Let's adjust our mindset to the level of becoming who we want to become. I'll try to conclude, but it's going to be a bit long. I'll conclude with another story. It's a popular story. If you Google it, you can even see it. I wrote it many years ago. Then I think sometime a few months ago, in one of the management lessons we had, somebody used that same story. It's a question. It says, which wolf will you feed? Which wolf will you feed? There was a story of a Cherokee, that's a Native American chief, who once told a story to his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said that in every human being, there is a battle going on. He told him, my son, the battle is between two wolves inside all of us. One is evil. This evil wolf is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, depression, first pride, superiority, ego. This is the evil wolf. He said the other one is good. That's joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. And these two wolves are always what? At war, inside all of us. The grandson talked about this for a while, and he asked his father, so which wolf wins the war? And the father simply told him, the one you feed. The one you feed, the one you give food, the one that you nurture, is the one that becomes stronger And that's the one that defeats the other one. The sermon is a plea, it's a reminder to all of us not to be a victim of our thoughts, not to be a victim of our minds, not to be a victim of the bad wolf. While we may not always be able to avoid negative thoughts, we can at least avoid not to feel them. So when you are feeling depressed, it is left to you. When you have a lot of anger, it is left to you. Because the Bible says, let your mind be this way. That means it's still within you to adjust your mindset. There is an old saying that you may not be able to avoid or prevent a bird from hovering over your head, but you can at least avoid it from building a nest on your head. Because it takes some time, it takes some energy to build a nest. So if you keep your head there, and the bird will go and be bringing the building materials to build a nest on your head, that is your fault. May the good Lord purify our thoughts, give us the ability to diligently guard our hearts now and always in Jesus' name.